Welcome, and thank you for pressing play. I'm Crystal Bergfield, and this is Fireside Chats with Crystal. Paying homage to FDR, this podcast discusses real politics through storytelling, interviews, and in-depth discussions that touch every American. With the help of my guests, I will dive into the issues that plague our society and highlight new ideas that could contribute to a healthy nation. This podcast is part of a larger curriculum to educate Americans about our society. Gather around the fire and prepare to expand your mind, your heart, and your reality. I'm Crystal Bergfield, and today's episode is What Do We Do When the World Seems Upside Down? I guess the question more specifically is, what do I do when the world seems upside down? I came out of the womb different. Growing up, I was called a freak, weirdo, even a crack whore for my difference. For the record, crack whore was a result of high school boys not understanding how I could be joyful when they were bullying me constantly. What they didn't understand is that I have always been guided from within. I have always maintained joy because my external circumstances never dictated my internal foundation. When I was young, and even up until recently, I thought I was like everyone else. And I am, for the most part. We all want security, stability, and love. We all want to enjoy our families and the lives we've created. But what does set me apart is my inner compass. I've always strived to be kind, to give love at every opportunity, and to serve people above my needs whenever possible. Additionally, I'm quite courageous, strategic, and intelligent. There is no problem too great to solve. I may not have all of the resources necessary, but my will is on board to tackle tough problems. I am a woman of great character. Oddly, because I've always been internally driven, I also don't really care that people say it's bragging or cocky. I wish more people were like me. I wish more people were taught the tools to build character and to commit to difficult tasks. I wish others had the opportunity to go through boot camp and understand how resilient and strong their minds and bodies are. I wish others served in the community more and knew their neighbors, loved their neighbors as much as they love themselves. Our society shames those of us who speak too loudly, who toot our own horns, who try to share our wisdom with the world. But the truth is, if there were more people who felt the courage to stand and lead, we wouldn't be in the situation we currently find ourselves in. And for the record, I'm not saying others don't have the character I do, but when we are guided externally, we are told our character doesn't mean shit. I'm here to tell you that it does. Your character is the only thing that will ever get you off the couch and into the trenches to battle your toughest demons, to slay your biggest dragons, and to climb your highest mountains. And so here we are today in 2019. Our country is battling our inner demons and dragons. Not only do we have these dragons, but we tried to just walk away from them without addressing the destruction they caused, hoping they would remain asleep. The upsurge of hatred and fear in our country today is not new. They are symptoms of unaddressed dragons. What are these proverbial dragons and demons? I'm glad you've asked. They are at the core of our very foundations. For example, our criminal justice system began as a way to 1. Protect the wealth of the rich, and 2. Control black bodies after the abolition of slavery. Those are facts. Google that shit. Then there is the healthcare system, which once provided quality care and searched for answers to our diseases, although not as many answers then as now. Today, with all of the answers we do have, it's a system that creates customers, medicating us and profiting off of disease. So much so that we are being marketed to, telling us that we should ask our doctor about the newest drug. What the? Shouldn't the doctor be advising what drug is best to cure my disease? And they've got us believing that there are no cures. Fuck that shit. From a woman who was diagnosed by doctors with having fibromyalgia, post-traumatic stress disorder, sexual trauma disorder, herniated discs, acid reflux, GERD, anxiety, depression, OCD, and probably a few other diseases that I threw my middle finger up at, I'm telling you that there are cures for all of our dis-ease if we have the time, space, energy, and money to address the roots of our problems. But most of us don't have half of those resources necessary, coupled with the doctors telling us to take a pill, or 10. I've been there. The docs had me on fentanyl, morphine, oxy, and then sleeping pills, anxiety meds, and a pretty blue pill to take a shit because you can't do that when you're comatose. Where was I at? Demons and dragons. How about our history? What did we all learn in school about history? We learned about the white man's history. Goddamn that one-sided history that brainwashed us all. We trusted the teachers. We were putty in their hands to mold and develop. And we were taught about white men's achievements. We didn't hear about the extent of our massacre of Native peoples. Conservative accounts estimate that there were over 1,500 wars, battles, and conflicts initiated by my ancestors to kill Native Americans. Think about this. Estimates are between 10 million to 100 million natives killed by my ancestors. That's a hell of a dragon not to address. We have to face our demons. Some people will argue to let sleeping dogs lie, but I cannot support that, and I'll tell you why. What we learn as children becomes our belief system. For example, if a child grows up in an abusive home, being told regularly how stupid he is and that he will never be anything, he starts to believe it. In fact, he believes it until he's shown otherwise. When we are taught in school that the white man is best, and done so through only seeing white men's accomplishments, we begin to believe this. In fact, I didn't understand that I had been programmed until I was an adult. I joined the Army and trained with people of all different backgrounds and ethnicities. I began making friends and realizing how much we had in common. But it wasn't until after the military that I went back to school and chose to take classes on minority groups to understand their story. And it's there that I began to get the bigger picture. I took a hate crimes class in college. There may have been one other white person there, but I'm not sure. What I am sure of was that I began to learn how skewed my education had been. I began taking classes on Latin American literature and history, African American literature and history. I studied the works of brilliant scholars, inventors, and leaders who were not white. And sadly, it blew my mind. Here I thought that white people had done all the work to build our nation, and in reality, we had just brought slaves over to do the hard work for us. Now, before my white folks go apeshit, I can tell you from growing up in rural Illinois, white folks work damn hard. I learned from them. I grew up with farmers, laborers, and cowboys. I baled hay and worked in the fields with my white friends and my Hispanic friends too. I'm getting off course, but the point is, our history is a colorful mosaic. We are all complex human beings. And the point is that when we don't talk about our dragons and our demons, when we don't teach our children this, they grow up to believe really biased things about people that don't look like them. You're an adult now. What do you believe about black folks or poor folks? How about immigrants? If you haven't befriended people who don't look like you, or taken the time to understand them, your opinion of them is probably based on what you are told on TV or through the media. And I want to point out one more thing before I hop off this soapbox and actually get to what I plan to talk about. The reason I am running for president is because I see the suffering and the anger from all sides. I see that every American right now is trying to find some stability and feel secure in our little piece of America. All of the fighting and divisive tactics that we watch in politics do affect our psyche. We start believing these people who have deemed themselves experts in governing our nation, and we begin to take on their finger-pointing. Just like children being molded by the education we receive, today our education is the media we consume. We have bought into the biased education to grasp onto some sense of stability and security. But I gotta tell you, it's not real. It's not. Well, it is because we are feeling very real effects of division and hatred, but it's only real because we allow it to be. Which gets me to the whole point of this podcast. What do I do when the world seems upside down? I run for President of the United States of America. I don't pretend to know everything about running for president, but what I do know is that our president should have great character and a desire to go outside of boxes for answers to our greatest problems. I gather up all of my skills and character and I begin building a bridge toward my goal. I examine the goal and the journey to get there, and I begin piecing together the best way I know how. And when I don't have the proper tool, I reach out. P.S. If you're listening and you've got some tools to help me out, a sister is waiting on you. This is about all of us. Because of my journey, which I will continue to open up more about in future podcasts and videos, I know how to find security and stability because I found it for myself. I have faced my inner demons and dragons and came out on top. So many wise sayings I can share here. Empowered women empower women. Healed people heal people. Not until we find peace within can we offer it to others. Be the change that you wish to see in the world, and so on. I have dug many trenches, faced many battles, and have been through many fires. And I stand before you today wiser and stronger for them all. I am here to serve our great country because I love. More than anything, I love my American brothers and sisters. I joined the Army shortly after 9/11 because I saw a need and I wanted to do my part. I swore to serve, honor, and protect my country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. The foreign thing I did in the military, but now I must focus domestically. Our country is imploding, and only a woman with the determination, fortitude, strength, compassion, understanding, and respect for every American can lead us to healing and unity. We don't have to like each other to do it, but we do have to put aside some of our beef to realize that we are all in this together. And I have to say, with Russia, North Korea, and China all appearing as threats to our democracy and our land, we better get our shit together quick so that if attack does come, we don't scatter like roaches, but we come together like ants who can build bridges with their bodies, carry 50 times their weight, and will work together to move immovable objects. Ain't that amazing? Well, so are we. We are American. Homework for the week. Did this podcast make you angry? Did it get you excited? Did you already know about these things? I want to hear about it. Constructive comments and conversation only. No mudslinging. Mudslinging is a sign of a lack of character. If you want to sling mud, think about why and write that. For example, instead of saying this podcast is shitty, you might consider why you think it's shitty and share. I didn't like this podcast because I felt attacked. And then, of course, my reaction will be, why do you feel attacked? That sounds like a demon or a dragon you need to address. May I help you address it? One other piece of homework is to question your beliefs about somebody you don't like. What story have you told yourself to feel justified in your hatred or fear? We will get into this as we continue along together, but one of the truths is that it's easy to control a large group of people when we are all afraid of one another and fighting one another. If we are busy fighting, we can't keep our eye on bigger moves being made by those with real power in this country. Fighting somebody without power isn't fighting, it's bullying. Let's get focused so we can fight the real fight. Like I said, I'm here to change the conversation. I'm not one to attack anybody. I'm here to show truths so that we can see them, heal them, and move forward together as one nation, one people. And I'm looking for people who get it to join me on the journey. If this episode resonated with you, if you are a person of great character, someone who wants to use your life to do something of purpose, or if you are just fed up with the way things are and know there has to be a different way forward, please connect with me on social at Crystal for POTUS and my website, crystalclearpolitics.com. This is just the beginning of our collective journey, my friends. My curriculum comes out at the beginning of next week, and I'm super excited to begin teaching you all about the things our education system left out. A social education curriculum, if you will. The month of March is all about jobs and wages. I will discuss some of the pitfalls and ugliness, but I will also highlight some super cool aspects of our American society along the way, and I will absolutely get to the meat and potatoes, sharing my ideas and thoughts about getting out of the mess we're in. And I'm looking for podcast guests to share their expertise around jobs, wages, and next month, taxes. Additionally, I'm looking for people who have a story to share about your experience with jobs, wages, or taxes. Hit me up. My campaign is about changing the conversation. I'm not a hot issue gal, and you won't be able to box me in. I'm here to learn, grow, heal, and lead. And one thing I know is that when we have a growth mindset, we outgrow boxes quickly. This has been Fireside Chats with Crystal. Thank you for taking your precious time to invest in yourself, your community, and our country. Now go out there and shine, baby, shine. Our country needs us now more than ever. If you like what you heard, please check out the curriculum link and dive into more learning already live. Then head over to my website and donate to the cause. I'm offering my curriculum for free, so it's up to you to see the value in what I'm doing and support your girl along the way.